Hello there, Internet. MegaMogwai here, and I got another Legends of Runeterra video for you guys today. And before we hop onto the deck tech, just want to say thank you guys for actually contributing to the question that I, threw out there yesterday. I had a lot of comments tell me, where they actually started playing card games, or what kind of community they came from prior. And yeah, it was really neat. I honestly wasn't really sure what portion of you actually watched the deck tech portions of the video, so it was definitely more of a response that I was expecting, so it was pretty neat to see. And yeah, I'm gonna make use of this intro by saying that if you guys have any champion or any sort of concept idea that you would like for me to explore when it comes to future decks that I'll be building, then let me know, because that always helps out. Sometimes I don't really know exactly what you guys want to see next, and yeah, if you have any cool ideas, then I can dive into them. And if there are any champions that you guys feel like I haven't been showcasing, I can definitely work on that too. So without further ado, we're gonna showcase one dope ass control deck. This is a really cool list that I built on my stream yesterday. It performed so well, and I got some sick gameplay for you guys. It is an Ezreal SWAIN control deck, and the reason why I'm mixing Ezreal and SWAIN is because they they have very similar level up requirements, right? Not really, because Ezreal requires you to target units or enemies rather 8 times or more, while SWAIN is all about non-combat damage. But it turns out when you combine these two regions together and you have a very spell damage reactive heavy sort of lineup, most of your resources are good for leveling up SWAIN and Ezreal at the same time. We have a control deck that's comprised of multiple damage producing spells. We have Thermogenic Beam, Blade's Edge, a full set of Ravenous Flock, Mystic Shot, we got Death's Hand, Get Excited, and Static Shock as sources that deal damage. And we have other tools to also target the opponent that don't really deal damage but still contribute for Ezreal's level up, in a one-off of Noxian Guillotine, a full set of Arachnoid Sentry, which happens to synergize really well with Ravenous Flock. So I really like the Arachnoid Sentry Ravenous Flock combo in Noxus. I think it's one of the things that really helped out decks like Yasuo mid-range, for example, and it definitely puts in the massive work here. Ravenous Flock is a card that will level up Ezreal by 1 stage, or will progress Ezreal's level up by 1 stage rather, but it does more of a job at leveling up SWAIN, because 1 mana deal 4 damage, that is 1/3 of SWAIN's overall level up requirement. That's pretty massive, right? So we're always happy to see Ravenous Flock in our early opening hand, because even if we don't draw Arachnoid Sentry, we can just combine it with something like a Blade's Edge or a Static Shock to just damage the unit and then follow it up with this. And of course, Noxian Guillotine kind of like serves as a bit of a 4th Ravenous Flock in a way. And in certain scenarios, especially against mid-range decks, we can just ping their units, like Sejuani Plunder, for example. We can ping their Sejuani, their Misfortune, their Scout unit here, and then in one turn, we can just start wiping out their board with just one card that will continue to duplicate itself, right? Or to create a copy of itself, not exactly duplicate. But basically, Noxian Guillotine is a really neat tool that I like as a one-off, but its main role is that of a 4th Ravenous Flock in a way. We also have the Chempunk Pickpocket. When it comes to units, we got this guy, the Arachnoid Sentry that I mentioned prior, and the Leviathan alongside Chumpwump as a 2 of each. Chumpwump is there to give us Mushroom Clouds to spam with Ezreal once he's leveled up, and Leviathan is there because we're playing SWAIN, and SWAIN plus Leviathan equals profit. So if you're playing SWAIN, play the Leviathan. So we have Chempunk Pickpocket though, which is perhaps the most or the least expected unit addition onto this deck. The reason why we're running him is because he is really good in this deck to punish lack of proactivity. Now, what the hell does that mean? Well, what I'm trying to say is, because we have a very reactive deck and we are playing Ezreal, some more experienced players will not really overcommit too much to the board and kind of like stall out a little bit, because in order to level up Ezreal, you need to target enemies, right? So if your opponent is not playing enemies early on, then you're going to have a tougher time or a slower process at leveling up Ezreal, right? In order to punish that, the Chempunk Pickpocket will capitalize on an empty board state by connecting onto the opposing nexus and generating you free value. Your opponent will get very nervous when, like, Pickpocket is one of those cards that you really hate to like not answer. It feels really bad because it's netting you card advantage turn after turn, and it forces the opponent to do something, to develop a board and defend against it. And that's why I really like it in this deck. I also like it because we're running a couple of Sump Works map. The more I play with Piltover and Zon, the more I actually like this card. I think this card is very underrated, especially in a metagame in which elusives are making a strong comeback and establishing themselves as one of the best decks in the game. The Sumpworks map allows us to surprise the elusive decks, amongst others, with burst speed, a burst speed ability to grant elusive to a unit, right? But the main reason why we have this, even though it's pretty cheeky with a pickpocket, the main reason we're running it is because of Swain. Giving elusive to Swain is the tits, man. If we give elusives to level up Swain, that means we can connect onto the Nexus and just wipe out the opponent's board. It is absolutely glorious. And one of the awesome things about leveled up Swain and leveled up Ezreal together is when you're, especially if we have like some burst speed mushrooms or just burst speed spells in our hand in general, we can apply burst speed spells to trigger Ezreal's ability and deal damage to the opposing Nexus, which will then allow us to stun the strongest units with Swain at burst speed, and thus leave the fearsome blockers out of the equation and enable us to connect even if we don't have the map to give elusive to Swain. And that can just be absolute GG. Like if we connect with level up Swain once, it's hard for the opponent to come back from that. It's a tremendous hit that just feels so damn satisfying at the same time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the deck list right there. Super fun to play. There are some bad matchups. Actually, I would say the worst matchup for this deck is the Undying deck, because you know, Ezreal in general really struggles with the Undying, as our entire deck is comprised of damage-based removal. So if our opponent plays a unit that never dies and keeps coming, then yeah, this deck is going to have a very hard time. It's a very, very difficult matchup to win. Close to impossible if they draw Undying on curve. So in case you see this deck a lot on ladder and you want to play a counter to it, you can try out that deck. You know, just stay two steps ahead of everybody, right? Nonetheless, this deck has fantastic matchups against everything else. Even against other control decks like Heimerdinger Vi, the matchup is really solid because they struggle dealing with the Swain Leviathan late game. Really, really good game against Sejuani Plunder as well, and all sorts of mid-range decks running around. Like, it's just got a fantastic reactive pool of tools that just allow you to basically answer close to any sort of opening early game. Like even Tempo Callista decks, we have the ability to slow them down super, super well. And it's just really rewarding to play, man. It's super fun, and I think you guys are going to see some really sick combos of Ezreal and Swain together. It honestly exceeded my expectations. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching. Have a solid day. Hope you enjoy the game. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. I do post a new video with mostly a new deck every single day. And yeah, enjoy the matches, like I said, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bro, when are they gonna fix this Masters rank bug? Aziriously, thank you so much, Aziriously. Fucking love you, bro. I'm gonna drop these two. Swain's not bad to have, but I'd rather just keep this. More removal. I want more removal options.
Bounty Bowl knows me now. Let's get to it.
No.
You name it, I'll nick it.
Bam, bam, bam.
Treasures of the ages for credit denied. Save me, loot.
All right.
Take from the rich, give to me. like opportunity.
Double make it rain. You gonna let me yoink? I can yoink too. See, this guy creates though. Creates a card. I don't steal it. This is what yoink should have been. Wow. Wow. Must be nice. Must be nice. God damn it, it's so annoying.
Dangerous water.
Fortune favors the bold.
The ocean is no place for the weak. Bless his motion.
Come on me.
Ocean matter.
Ocean matter. Well, Sejuani could be a thing, but we're still going with this.
Victory awaits. Fear the power you do not see.
Bow to no one.
Who's on top of the bounty board today?
Now my question is, yeah, it doesn't proc because he's already vulnerable. So him playing the hired gun now, that's funny.
The ocean charts our course.
Order, sir. Bring forth our
Bring
army.
forth that army. He's still quite far from leveling up Sejuani. Time for some motherfucking conquering. Go home! Go home!
History will remember us.
Yoink your mama!
In all seriousness, though, thank you
Fascinating.
for everything you do for our community, Mogwai. You always keep the game fresh and entertaining. Keep doing great things, man.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the kind words, man. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, da-da.
What's that noise?
Da-da-da.
I've never known music like this.
You've no idea.
Simp.
So young.
I must get out of here.
Spaz here.
Nothing escapes my watch. No.
You want to prevent the card draw?
Lady Elise, please.
Ooh, you know what would be good? A ravenous flock would be the tit here. Ravenous flock would have been amazing. How does he kill this Ezreal? I don't need to play Ezreal now.
You name it, I'll nick it.
I could have played Ezreal to go for the...
I must get out of here.
Figure out from the darkness.
Don't be calling missus. Save me, Luke!
They're out there.
I'll spot 'em.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
Take from the rich, give to me.
Honestly,
No. Vision to see what others cannot.
We shall return.
I'm so good, I surprised myself! Don't blink, or you'll miss me.
That egg. Did it move?
Going undercover.
Such a little round.
Stop bragging if you could back it up.
I will light the signal fire.
Stop me!
After the battle.
for Noxus. Oh.
Leave them nothing. I will break them.
I, need a map?
Leave or not. Such
I knew we had it all along.
Me too. Finally, a non-joined deck though. My God, dude, that was disgusting. Oh, that was disgusting. But it's my fault. It's my fault. Ultimately it's my fault. But I have a right to be angry, man. Holy shit.
Oh, hello there.
That was a design mistake. Like, that's just what it is. A fucking design mistake. I'm gonna take this hit. I'm gonna preserve this Mystic Shot for something more threatening. I'm gonna stun this.
All in the wrist, see?
You name it, I'll nick it.
That's a good draw.
I'll take a dead ordinary love. Let's see what's out there.
What's this you got there?
Double glimpse beyond could work around this. So I do have to target you first. This makes it so that even if he does have double glimpse beyond, he can't level up Callista. I'll take 1 extra damage to just guarantee she doesn't level up. Let me take a look at it, because I think this guy's playing my deck. So let's make use of that knowledge and let's take a look.
I thought you'd never ask. Watch and learn.
I can hold on to Swain for now, because if I play him now, there are several things that can go wrong. Like a Deathmark setup could be pretty bad.
I know you're thinking and stuff, but could you maybe speed things up a little? Nailed it.
Fresh catch? Well, it was fresh.
Firing!
Run overboard! Oh, heck!
They don't know what they're up against.
Born a patrician, I became a soldier.
Come, the journey ahead is long.
Again, I think he's playing my deck, so unless he's running like a surprise Ruination,
Ways to find me mushroom. Pay debt.
Such little lives. Need or nothing. We are at war.
That's gotta hurt.
I missed lethal. I forgot I was generating this. It's fine. I forgot I was generating this. No, I didn't miss lethal. I didn't have the mana to drop those 3. Never mind. Never mind.
Thought you'd never
This is
ask.
better. This is better.
Sure.
This is better. Got him.
And Ezreal is victorious.
Okay. Draven Vi. What's wrong with the rank? It's bugged. Master's rank is bugged. So it doesn't change until you get into another game. Better-dim.
Time for the main event. Draven down.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the day. I got ways to find your mushrooms. Fool them.
Here comes the punchline.
That's why I didn't want to drop Swain so early, because the threat of Vi is real. Even though he top decked her right now, he does have enough spells to get her going. So we're going to be cautious about this.
They mum's still like a Yoda in uniform.
I tried being cool. Eat this!
He must be playing Warling Death, so I could play Swain with the map, but I don't want to do that because if he challenges Swain next turn and I go for the Death's Hand, he could respond with a Whirling Death and knock out my Swain. So for 3 extra damage, I don't like this line of play at all. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with you.
Enforcer down.
Pay debt. Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the day.
Okay. Well, we know he literally just can only decimate. So that's something that's very powerful for us.
Born a patrician, I became a soldier.
I'm gonna surprise him here. This Ezreal top deck is huge. Motherfucking Captain Farron. It all comes down to what this card is.
Check me out. Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Let me show you what I can do.
Alright, easy peasy.
Going undercover.
I will
I will break them.
fire above all. Such little love. Leave them nothing.
Noxus!
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
History will remember us.
Nani? Yeah, make him burst speed while you're at it. No offense, but I'm happy some of you guys are not in the design team. Oh my god. It would be dark times. Let's drop the progress day. I think we keep everything else here. Yeah, I think we do.
You name it, I'll nick it. Packed 'em good.
Yeah. I really like the pickpocket forces him to drop this.
Check out the goods on this one. Got a surprise for him. Just borrowing.
What delightful agony. Going somewhere. Sweet tones of neither the flames nor the depths can claim me.
That missed call was pretty huge.
Vision to see what others can. By my hand, the Noxus rise. Leave them nothing. I will break them. Victory awaits. I'll show 'em pain. Like a worm on a hook. Dead men tell my tale. Destination in sight.
Work, you dogs!
There she is. Oh. Artillery barrage!
Nice.
Return fire! Cowards! We're going under! Master, your commands. I rarely forget and never forgive.
Time to earn your pay!
I will break them. That egg? Did it move? Or not? Their time has come.
What you looking for?
Oh my god. Alright. How do we fare against the Undying? I think this could be a problematic matchup. We'll keep this handle. I think she just realized. Oh boy. Let's hope for no. Do I play? I don't play Butcher in this deck, right? No, I do. I play a full set of Butcher. Oh. I'm gonna go for a thermal beam.
The chains, they never stop. I gotta get out of here. That line. That egg, did it move?
So many years, so much.
Now the goods on this one. Sharing is caring.
Stop me!
Citrus Courier could be a thing. Just gotta focus on continuing to level up. Yeah, Citrus Courier is a little bit concerning.
Save me, Luke.
Vision to see what others can.
The problem is, I actually don't want to kill these Undying, so the fact that I'm striking the enemies is a bit of an issue here.
Indecision is the first of many weaknesses.
Let me take a look at the deck real quick. Pretty sure this deck has multiple answers for the scenario. Okay, just, yeah, a one-off of Vengeance. Alright, it's unfortunate. Alright. Honestly, I lose to Citrus Courier here, I think. It could very likely happen. Alright, what other options are there? There's a couple of Grasp of the Undying.
Time for a true display of skill.
Yeah, boss.
The second Grasp. She got a bit lucky. And that's it, right? Alright. She's sleeping on the couch tonight. At the end. Wrecked. Omega wrecked. Not only because of power level, just because of the way the card feels. It's a card that appears to be well designed initially, if that makes sense on paper, but in practice it doesn't work, right? I guess I'll keep the Noxious Guillotine. Ladros is better designed than Farron, but Ladros is not a good example of a well-designed card either. Ladros is a bit of a silly card.
I got the goods.
shrouded path. Seize control.
Don't be calling no enforcers.
Over here.
Yoink.
Check out the goods on this one. Jack pocket.
See, the Camp Cup, this is a good example of a very well-designed card. This is a competitive card. It's not toxic because it's creating. Like, the fact that it's creating is very relevant. Okay, we're gonna Blade's Edge that to oblivion. May as well drop you now. No, because I need to translate as much. Yeah, I'm gonna drop you.
Time for a true display of skill.
Just to get Ezreal on the board, because in this matchup, it's not like I'm worried about him removing Ezreal with anything. Like, he can just bounce him with Will of Ionia. So getting Ezreal in early is actually pretty useful here, because we don't have to worry about playing him later down the line. And in a pinch, we have an elusive blocker as well. So we get to fully, you know, carry over the spell mana for next turn, and we're going to be able to apply Blade's Edge onto the Zed alongside a Noxian Guillotine, which is a play.
Time, pal. It's not like I've got better things to do.
Which is a play that will only be it'll only be stopped by a deny.
Pledge yourself to the shadows. We go as one.
Stop on me.
Don't look twice.
What you looking for? One shot, all skill. Firing. Time for a leap of faith. Stuff, but could you maybe speed things up?
Vision to see what others.
Been watching your
thank you, Harley
content
Quinn.
on Why
This is
for
my
a
bucks, man.
while now. Really entertaining and great analysis.
They're tired.
That is completely fine.
I know a way.
I will break them.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's go, baby. Honestly, I really like money. Whoo.
After the battle of bleed for nothing. These are dangerous lands. I will break them. Thank or perish. Search
Easy. Like my name.